Summer has arrived over here with very warm days, succeeding to very rainy and cold days. And my flowers are absolutely enjoying this weather. I have bought a little rose tree for my balcony, inspired by the balconies I've seen in Paris in May. I did a little escapade in May in Paris, and I've seen a lot of rose trees on balconies, and they were really beautiful and blooming really well, and I thought I could try. In the studio, I'm working right now on my new workshop, which is a workshop for beginners, which will be an Alice in Wonderland beginner workshop, and that's what I'm doing these days. So I'm working right now on my Alice in Wonderland workshop, which is going to be a workshop made for really beginners. It's a workshop I wanted to do for many years. Since the beginning, I really started to do online workshop. I wanted to do an Alice in Wonderland workshop. So it's going to be made for the persons who are really wanted to try to work with paper, to create something with paper, but are a bit scared of long paper adventures. And they would like to try maybe something shorter, which can be accomplished in a few days or 1 or 2 weeks max, and really have something nice. So it's really going to be for people who want to start to play a bit with paper, have never sculpted before, have not a lot of experience in any craft, but would like to do something with paper. So it's not going to be for advanced people at all. It's really made for beginners with a short decors or creations. Humpty Dumpty is going to be one of the most advanced of the workshop. There will be other little decors which are all pretty small and can be completed in a few days. So you will see, of course, more once I'm finished with it. It's going to arrive this summer. I'm working on it, so I don't know exactly when it will be ready. So I have quite a lot of fun working on this workshop. It's fun also to do something a little shorter, a little smaller. All my past workshops last year, the Halloween, the Christmas, Marie Antoinette, were really long workshops, and I really wanted to balance this year and do something which would really be a little easier for people who start and a little less intimidating. You will have more details about that very soon. You will have more things also on my workshops newsletter. The newsletter which is only focusing on my workshops. I will give you a little things before it's open, and you will see a little more things over there. Last Saturday, I spent the day with my friend Gaëlle, who lives in the north of Lyon, which is about 1 hour and 15 minutes away by train from my town. So I took the train to get there. We decided in the morning to go to a thrift store she likes, where we usually find a lot of things. She found a lot of treasures in this thrift store. I found few things too. She found quite many beautiful things. Vas-y, tu peux y aller. Je sais pas ce que tu faisais. So on top of the Art Nouveau vase that she found, she also found a pretty umbrella, which is really nice because it has some fabric inside, outside and inside, which is not something I've often seen. It's so cool. And she also found this beautiful frame. All the flowers you see in the frame are made out of hair of a loved one, of the person who made or had ordered maybe this one, made by an artist, we didn't know, but it's made with hair, entirely with hair. And also a piece of jewelry to put some hair inside, a lock of hair of your loved one, you would put it inside. And she also found a saucer to organize her jewelry in her bathroom. I had planned to film way more when I was visiting Gaëlle at her place, but we had a very long lunch. If you have never been to a French house or French family or friends gathering, it's something you can maybe struggle to understand a bit how it looks like, but usually when we meet, especially there with my friends when I don't see them very often, the lunch or the dinner time can take very long, and it is very classic in France to stay at the table for 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes, or at least 2 or 3 for sure, 2.5 for sure. So usually you have l'apéritif, the little things before you start to eat, then you can have a first course, then the main course, then you have the cheese, and then you have some dessert, maybe some coffee, and then you leave the table at about 3 o'clock, 2.5 or 3:30, something like that. And that's what we did when I was visiting Gaëlle, which is really classic, and we have really nice conversation while we are eating. It's really the food and the conversation all together which make this moment so special. And sometimes people from abroad, foreigners who come to France, misunderstand a bit this aspect of the French life. I had some friends and guests coming in my place for eating, for lunch, for dinner, or for a few days, who sometimes wanted to leave the table after 30 or 40 minutes, which is really not something we do there when it is a social thing, something festive and nice and pleasant. Of course, for my daily life, when I'm on my own and I'm eating my lunch a bit quickly during the week, or maybe during the weekend, if I'm on my own, I'm not going to stay 3 hours at the table. Of course, it's really something you do with people you like and you appreciate and you want to have a good time. But I was surprised sometimes to see some foreigners friend who came, who wanted to put away the dishes and leave the table to do something else. And this is really not something we do. You enjoy your time, you take your time, you slow down. And this is one of the joy for me of taking your time and having a pleasant time with your friends. So that's what we did with Gaëlle. But by the time we had finished last Saturday, it was time for me to take my train and come back. So I didn't have the time to film more with Gaëlle, but she planned to come back this summer on her YouTube channel. I will just link her YouTube channel. She has completely deserted it this past 2 years, but she said she wanted to come back, so hopefully she will. I plan to do a video with her this summer too, so for sure there will be something on my channel, on hers, I don't know. Maybe you will see if you have appreciated the few videos she did. Maybe you will be excited to know she's going to come back, but for sure I will do something with her. We will see what will be the theme of the video. But I wanted to show you what I brought back from La Brocante, the sort of thrift store, brocante store where we went. I was not so lucky as Gaëlle to find so many very beautiful things I liked. We don't really have the same taste. She's more into Art Nouveau, turn of the century style, Japanese thing, that's the thing she likes, or late Victorian. For me, I'm more into Rococo, Baroque, or early 19th maybe. But I didn't find much. I though found this nice wheel teapot. So in France, finding wheel old teapot is really where teapots were not really something really trendy. People prefer their coffee to the tea. So I was super pleased to find this one, which is exactly matching the color of my kitchen. It's the same color. It's very, very cute, very delicate, and it's a wheel teapot. So I think it's the first wheel old teapot that I own. All my other one are whether coffee pot or chocolate pot. So that was a nice find, and I found it for €4. So that was really good. And on the dishes side, I found these two soup bowls. They're not really special, but I thought they were really cute, and I love bowls. I love eating on my bowl when I'm on my own, or for the soup, of course, but also to put some fruits inside or for some desserts. So I just took two of them, and they were also very, very inexpensive, €1 or €2 each. I only found few books. As I'm still in my Charles Dickens passion, I found this Charles Dickens Christmas tales, which include the very famous one, but also a handful of less famous ones. But I will keep this one for the Christmas season, the winter season. I'm not going to read it now. So this one was just a handful of euro too, maybe 2 or 3. Gaëlle offered me this Walter Scott Quentin Durward, I don't know how you pronounce it in English. I had it already, but you never have too many books. So I'm happy to have this one too. I will compare the illustration with the other one, and I didn't read this one anyway. This is one of my Walter Scott I bought, which I still didn't read, though I made a lot of progress on all the books I had bought a few years ago. And this one, I was really excited to find it. It's a classic of the Swiss literature in Switzerland. I have a very good friend in Switzerland, and she mentioned this name a few times. Uli, I think you say Uli, I would say Uli, but it's a Swiss-German author who wrote it. And I'm excited to know what it's all about. It's about the countryside, it's a main character. I was thinking maybe it would have a bit of a Heidi atmosphere, I'm not sure. But I know it's a classic, and it exactly comes from where she lives, so I thought it was really fun. It's my fairy friend. You have seen her in a video about Halloween. You didn't see her, you saw her hands and her house. I did a video a bit about her, the time I was spending with her 2 or 3 years ago. Well, she lives in La Chaux-de-Fonds, which is a town in Switzerland, in the French speaking part of Switzerland. Well, it just reminded me of her actually to have this book, and I'm really excited to know what it is, if it's really the nice Swiss countryside that I like, with the Alps and the mountains. So that's all I found. My treasures were really more modest than Gaëlle, who found really, really nice things that are exactly her taste. This time for me there were less temptations. So this is all I found in the treasure hunting we did with Gaëlle last weekend. A little earlier this week, I wanted to make a classic summer French dessert, or entremets, if we are a bit specific about the vocabulary. It is called a clafoutis, and it is close to a flan. It's a bit the same texture than a flan, with a lot of eggs. And it can be done for dessert or for tea time. And it's really something that we do a lot in France during the summertime, and you can do it with all the seasonal fruits, apricots, you can do that with all the red fruits, cherries. And it's much lighter than a tart or a crumble. There is no butter and no oil in it. There's only flour, eggs, milk and sugar. And here I found a gluten-free and dairy-free version. It can be done here with almond milk and with corn flour. I found a few dresses in shops in my town for summer. I didn't buy a lot of summer outfits these past 2 years. I found this blue dress, which was really beautifully made. It was the original price was much higher. I had it in shops which sells past collections, so it's new clothes but from past collections. I wanted to buy it because it reminded me of an Empire, early 19th century Jane Austen style, if you will, and I thought it would work well with something long under it. And usually I like to buy my dress, especially summer dresses, but sometimes also winter dresses, in the children's corner, because very often in the children's section of shops you have better fabric, more charming patterns, I think, better the colors I like the most. So I usually try to get there if they have some usually 14 years old size. So I just needed to change the buttons on the blue one, and the others were a little too large too, so I needed to do some little alterations. And I like to do my sewing in the evening while listening to the swift outside, and Clochette is of course next to me, and I just enjoy this peaceful time working on my wardrobe. Thank you very much for watching this little vlog. Let me know if you plan to try the Clafoutis recipe. Maybe you were familiar with this dessert, which we would rather call an entremet in France. It's not exactly a dessert. An entremet is more like for wet cake, not the real dry cake, but like a flan or something creamy. That would go in the category of entremet. So it's a nice entremet, very easy to do. I'm sure you can find some translated recipe very easily online, whether with almond milk and corn flour like me, or with the real recipe with flour and regular milk. Well, I hope the weather where you are is a little more stable. Here it's 1 or 2 days complete warm summer, 1 or 2 days chaos, storm, rain, and the nature and the plants and flowers are really enjoying it. My little rose trees I've shown you in the video are really growing. I have two. I have one on the balcony and another one on my living room window, and he's growing. He's much smaller, but he's growing, and the one on the balcony has no flowers for the moment. The flowers are gone, but the branches are growing really fast. And I had the idea when I was in Paris, I've mentioned that, in May for just a tiny trip, and I've seen a lot of rose trees on balconies, quite a lot, and they were spectacular. They were really growing well. So I just thought I'm going to try if rose trees would be happy on my balcony with the light I have and all that, because I only have sunshine in the morning on the living room and on the balcony. So I just thought it would probably be possible to have a blooming rose tree there, and on top of that they're smelling really nice. So I will continue to work on my Alice in Wonderland workshop. I'm also working on some little surprises I want to send on my regular normal newsletter, and I mentioned that in my previous video, but I'm not finished yet because we have a lot of things happening in France these days, and I have to do a lot of trips to my family's home because I'm not voting in my town. I'm voting in where I come from, so which implies a lot of train trips, which I didn't plan a few weeks ago. So it disorganized a bit my schedule, but I'm working on that, and you will receive it in the next normal newsletter. It's not the one for my workshops only, it's my main newsletter for everybody who is interested about all the things I do in general. And you still have the link under this video if you want to receive those things, these surprises I'm working on right now. And the Alice in Wonderland, you will have some updates too on the workshops newsletter and also on my videos. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss all the nice videos coming, and you can give a thumbs up, it's always very helpful. And I hope to see you very soon.